Hey, welcome to Up Next Recaps. Today we're covering a 2008 horror mystery thriller movie called The Midnight Meat Train. The movie starts off with a man who wakes up on a moving train. While trying to make out his environment, he slips and falls down. Just then he checks around only to see the enormous amount of blood on the floor and a human being terminated in one of the coaches. He's scared to death as the scene ends. In the next scene, Leon, a photographer, is seen walking on the street and taking pictures. He soon arrives home and his girlfriend Maya welcomes him. Leon walks directly to his photo album and starts checking them out without giving proper attention to Maya. Maya asks him if he doesn't find her fascinating again, but he denies it. Maya then goes over to Leon and says she wants him to make her happy. Leon agrees that they do some romance for an hour or so Maya can be happy. Maya then informs him that she has arranged a meeting with a gallery owner named Susan Holly. This news delights Leon and he embraces his girlfriend tight. The following day, Leon and his friend Jurgis meet up with Susan at her gallery. Susan asks Leon what inspires him to be a photographer and he replies that the city did. He explains that he loves capturing the city and he shows Susan some pictures he's taken. Susan goes through the pictures and says they are not enough. She asks him to take more capturing moments and then he can come back to show her. Jurgis tries to encourage Leon and the duo takes their lean at home. Maya tells Leon that Susan is wrong about him and he is very good at what he does. Later that night, Leon suddenly wakes up from his sleep when an idea flashes through his head. He stands up and goes to the subway. Now in the subway station, Leon finds some men teasing a young lady, Erica. He takes pictures of them and warns them with the CCTV camera across the station. The crooks leave Erica alone after seeing that their faces are on the camera. Leon comes over to Erica and she kisses him in appreciation for saving her life. She then proceeds to board a train. A strange man dressed in a suit stops the train door from closing and assures her in. Leon smiles and leaves after seeing that she is safe. Moments later, Erica is knocked out by the strange man and the same kinds of way. The following morning, Leon shows his girlfriend the pictures from last night and she says they are amazing. Later that day, while having lunch at the restaurant where Maya works, Leon sees a news article about Erica. The article declares that she is missing and Leon has done. He informs Maya and tells her that he has to go to the police with the pictures he has of her. At the police station, Leon explains in detail how the night went and says he suspects that the crooks are responsible for Erica's disappearance. Detective Lynn Hardley, who is responding to Leon, seems skeptical about everything Leon just told her. After leaving the station, Leon goes to the gallery and shows Susan the pictures. Susan has impressed and tells him that if he can get 2 more stunning pictures for her, he will be part of her show group. Leon is delighted by the news as a grin shows on his face. Later that night, Leon, Jurgis, and Maya celebrate his win at a bar. He thanks them for supporting him. Shortly afterward, he leaves to try and get the 2 pictures that Susan demands. Up next, a couple of another fellow are discussing while traveling inside the subway. Suddenly the strange man in a suit comes from behind and starts terminating them with a mallet. The man's face is revealed, and his name is Mahogany. Leon can be seen sitting down at the entrance of the subway when Mahogany comes up using the escalator. Leon takes pictures of Mahogany as he exits the subway station. He follows Mahogany a little further, but Mahogany looks back and grabs Leon. Leon sponsoring on Mahogany his finger and tells him that he only wants a picture of him. Mahogany lets him go and hurries off the puck. Getting home, Leon looks through his pictures from the night of Erica's disappearance and spawns Mahogany and one of them the following day. Leon starts stalking Mahogany and soon discovers that he works in a meat shop as a butcher. He takes pictures of every moment and waits till Mahogany is done for the day. He then follows Mahogany to the subway and Leon witnesses as he enters the last train of the night. Leon is about to enter the train, but he has stopped by a police officer who demands to see his camera. Inside the train, Mahogany attacks a bodybuilder, but he fights back hard. During the struggle, it is apparent that the bodybuilder will win. However, the train conductor comes over and shoots the bodybuilder. He then tells Mahogany to clean the mess. Upon getting home, Leon proposes to his girlfriend and they make out in celebration. The following day, Mahogany can be seen in his apartment. He cuts off some flesh and then puts them in a jar filled with liquid. He takes some pills afterward, while preparing a meal. Maya tells Leon to stop following Mahogany and that he should leave the investigation to the cops. However, Leon is stubborn and still trails Mahogany to the meat shop. At the meat shop, Leon narrowly escapes with his life when Mahogany gives chase and tries to terminate him at home. Maya arrives home to find Leon going through news articles and pictures about Mahogany. The duo gets into a heated argument because Maya wants him to stop taking pictures at night so he can be happy. Maya leaves angrily into the bedroom after seeing that Leon couldn't control his obsession with the butcher. The following day, Leon goes to his workplace and apologizes to her. While he is looking around, he notices Mahogany staring at him. He then follows Mahogany and boards the last subway train of the night with him. Moments later, Leon witnesses as Mahogany eliminates all the passengers on the train and he takes pictures of everything. Mahogany removes the nail and eyes of his victim. He also cuts off their hair and hangs them on a meat hook. Soon afterward, Mahogany discovers Leon and he chases him. He catches Leon and knocks him out. Soon afterward, Leon can be seen shouting in pain as an unknown creature marks his body. The following morning, Leon awakens in a slaughterhouse. Meanwhile, Maya is at home worrying about the disappearance of Leon. Moments later, my boyfriend arrives home and locks himself in the bathroom. He finds strange markings carved into his chest by a bangs on the bathroom and thanks Leon to open the door. But opening the door, Leon informs Maya on the events of last night. He tells her that he captured everything on his camera, but Mahogany has taken his camera from him. Maya tries to call the police, but Leon stumps her and says they won't believe him yet, that they might suspect him in the disappearance of Erica Eubanks. Maya to stop worrying about him. Leon then proceeds to attend the gallery show he is invited to by Susan, and soon afterward Maya contacts Jurgis and explains everything happening to him. The duo then proceeds to go to a hug and his apartment when he is not around. While the duo goes through the building, Mahogany comes back and knocks out Jerkiness with a mallet. Maya hears the sound, would soon find several train schedules on a cabinet. Maya starts looking for Jerkiness but soon realizes that Mahogany is inside with them and then he has already captured Jarvis. Maya immediately runs out of the building. It is then shown that the same marking on Leon has been carved on Jurgis. 2 moments later, Maya goes to the police station and she is received by Detective Hadley. Maya tries to explain everything to her but she remains skeptical. She then says they have checked Mahogany his house, but she also demands that Maya return the train schedules that she found, but Maya denies they are with her. At the gallery show, Leon and Susan can be seen having a discussion, but she said excuses herself to attend to something else. Leon then looks at the picture of Mahogany on the wall and he gets revengeful. He starts leaving, and when Susan asks to where he is going, he replies that he has a train to catch. Shortly afterward, Mike goes to her workplace and procures a gun. As she steps outside, she is confronted by Hadley. She demands that she hands over the train schedule. Maya warns her with the gun and asks her where Jerkis is. Hadley tells her where Jerkis says, "In my head," immediately runs off. Next, Leon heads to the slaughterhouse where he woke up. There he finds a hidden subway entrance. There he armed himself with several knives and enters the subway. Meanwhile, Maya also forts the train and she starts walking around the coaches looking for Jurgis. As the train passes by, Leon spots Maya inside and he immediately screams Bill. He then runs up to the train and jumps onto it with a medium. Maya walks around and soon finds Jerkis hung upside down with the meat. She tries to release Jerkis, that Mahogany hears her and starts coming. She shoots at him and misses every shot. He is about to terminate Maya when Leon comes from behind and shots at Leon. Goes after the butcher and the two fight in between the swinging bodies. Body parts are thrown and used to strike. Jerkis is hung from a hook and dies. As they fight, Leon manages to push Mahogany off the train and Maya hugs him for his victory. The train reaches its final stop, like cavernous abandoned station filled with skulls and bodies. The conductor appears, advising Leon in my head to step away from the meat. The true purpose of the abandoned station is revealed as reptilian creatures enter the car and consume the bodies of passengers. Leon and Maya flee into the cavern. Mahogany, who has now battered, reappears and fights to the death with Leon. After Leon inserts a broken femur, Mahogany only grins in his dying moment, saying, "Welcome." The conductor tells me the creatures have lived beneath the city long before the subway was constructed, and Butcher's job is to feed them each night to keep them from attacking subway riders during the day. He picks up Leon with the same supernatural strength as the dead Butcher consumes Leon's time. The conductor brings Leon's attention to Maya, who has been knocked unconscious and is lying on a pile of bones. The conductor forces Leon to watch as he opens his chest. He says that having terminated the Butcher, Leon must take his place. The movie comes to an end, showing Detective Hadley handing over the train schedule to the new Butcher wears a ring with the symbol of the group that feeds the creatures. The movie ends as the Butcher walks onto the midnight train.